On a beautiful night for soccer here in Lisle, Illinois, it is the 2015 Chicago Red Stars season, as tonight they will be hosting the runner-up last season, Seattle Reign FC, alongside University of Illinois women's head soccer coach Janet Rayfield. I am Brett Myers, bringing you all the action of tonight's home opener. And we'd also like to send a special welcome to those watching today on Naperville Community Television, Channel 17. They've joined the Red Stars this year as our official community TV station to bring live Red Stars soccer to TV screens in Naperville, and if you have your cable through AT&T throughout the state of Illinois. We're going to take a quick break. After that, we'll go over the starting lineups, but first, a message from our sponsors. Red Stars 2015 to begin right here at Benedictine University, as tonight they hold current Shield winners and last year's runner-up, the Seattle Reign, here at Benedictine Complex. The Chicago Red Stars looking to be into the playoffs in 2015, only missing out in 2014, tied for fourth with the Washington Spirit in the table, but missed out due to the tiebreaker. Washington held the head-to-head advantage. Definitely have the players on the roster to do so. 8 total players in the Red Stars roster called up for national team duty for this summer's Women's World Cup in Canada. 4 from the United Press, Shannon Box, Lori Kolupny, and Julie Johnston. 3 for Canada, as in Anna Leon and Melissa Tancredi. And New Zealand's Abby Ursig, the lone representative from the Chicago Red Stars, to represent the football Ferns at this summer's World Cup. The Chicago Red Stars will probably be Julie Johnston. She is the 2014 NWSL and helped anchor a Chicago defense that was second in the NWSL in goals allowed. Julie Johnston has also had a couple of goals scored this season, once in the in a friendly against New Zealand back on April the 4th. The Seattle Reign looking to well after leading the league last year and being the Shield winners with an impressive 16-2-6 record. They lost in the NWSL championship game to FC Kansas City by 1. And one of the players that looks to help the Reign get the championship is Megan Rapinoe. The Reign have already played a match this season at home against Western New York, a game by a commanding score of 5-1. Rapinoe with a hat trick for the Seattle Reign. So it should be a very, very close matchup tonight between one of the best defensive teams in the league in the Chicago Red Stars and one of the best offensive teams in the league right here at Benedictine University. And we return back here to Benedictine University. We are ready to kick off this match. Let's go over the starting lineups really quickly. First for the visiting Seattle Reign, Hope Solo, the U.S. International, starting in goal. In front of her on defense, Lauren Barnes, Kendall Fletcher, and Ellie Reed. In the midfield, Amber Brooks, acquired in a trade back in March. She's joined in the midfield by Kim Little, Jess Fishlock, Merritt Mathias. And up top for the Reign, Megan Rapinoe, who had a hat trick in that 5-1 victory over Western New York on Sunday. And Beverly. For the Chicago Red Stars, their starting lineup looks like this. Karina LeBlanc, the Canadian international, in goal. On defense are Rachel Kwan, Julie Johnston, Abby Ursig, Taryn Hemmings. The captain, Lori Kolupny, in the midfield, along with two Chicago Red Stars draft picks in Sofia Huerta and Danielle Colaprico. Vanessa DiBernardo rounds out the midfield for Chicago, and up top is Kristen Press. And look at both starting lineups, Janet Rayfield. What can you tell us about tonight's matchup?
Well, I think it's going to be a great matchup, and certainly the battle in the midfield, I think, will be an important thing tonight. You know, both teams, great defensive teams in the league last fall, so you know it's going to be a challenge to get behind those back lines. But the Stars midfield, a lot of youth, Huerta and Colaprico, I think definitely going to come in and change things for the Red Stars. And you've got that triple threat there with Little, Fishlock, and Brooks, and that's a midfield to contend with. So we'll see how that battle plays out.
Well, we are getting ready to go here at Benedictine University between the Chicago Red Stars. A little bit of delay in the start of the action as a conversation taking place between tonight's referee, David Mon, and one of Jennifer Garner. Delay the start of the proceedings here tonight at Benedictine University. The Chicago Red Stars just missing out on the playoffs last season. Lost the tiebreaker to the Washington Spirit, so technically they finished fifth, but they were really tied for fourth with Washington in the NWSL standings. The Seattle Reign finished first, 54 points on the table, 17 clear of FC Kansas City. Again, recapping the startups here for the Seattle Reign. Hope Solo in goal. The defenders, Stephanie Cox, Lauren Barnes, Kendall Fletcher, Ellie Reed. Midfielders, Kim Little, Amber Brooks, Jess Fishlock, and Merritt Mathias, Pino, and Beverly Yanez. And for the Chicago Red Stars, LeBlanc in goal, Kwan, Johnston, Ursig, and Hemmings in the defense. Midfielders, Kolupny, Huerta, DiBernardo, Colaprico, and the forwards, Press. Still experiencing a bit of delay here at Benedictine University.
I think they're fixing one of the nets and making sure that the ball can't go through the net and just into the net tonight.
Especially on days like up quite a bit. When we last checked, the wind was coming out of the northeast at 13 miles per hour. It definitely feels a lot faster than that, Janet.
Yeah, you look at those flags out there, and the wind is the wind's picked up as we've gone into the night, which isn't the norm. Usually the wind dies flags. I'm standing straight out from those flagpoles and really running the length of the field. So, you know, the Red Stars are going to have that wind in their face this first half and have to see how they deal with that.
The whistle goes, and we are underway here in the 2015 Chicago Red Stars season here at Benedictine University. And Taryn Hemmings has the ball, and we'll send it back to Karina LeBlanc. The Chicago Red Stars in their whites with blue rings and new red numbers this year, along with the red shorts. And the Seattle Reign, a very unique color combination. They're wearing on the road. Neon green backs, blue shorts, and blue fronts to their kits here in tonight's matchup.
I certainly won't have a problem seeing the rain, I think, in this game, no matter how dark it gets.
I don't think anybody in the stadium here tonight will have a hard time seeing the rain at all, as there's a tussle on the far side. Amber Brooks will collect up the for the Seattle Reign, and will give it away to the Chicago Red Stars for a throw-in. Just getting things started here, approaching the second minute at Benedictine University. Seattle Reign have already played a match this season, this past Sunday, a 5-1 thrashing against Western New York. Megan Rapinoe with a hat trick in that game for Seattle. So sending a warning shot out to the league that, hey, we're coming not only for first place again, but we're coming for that league championship that they lost in the championship game against FCKC by a score of 2-1.
I talked to Laura Harvey about, the Red Stars being able to have seen them play and not versa. And certainly that's a little bit of an advantage for the Red Stars tonight, having not played and Seattle having played a game and been able to see sort of what they've been trying to do.
Well, especially when anybody can view the games on YouTube, and we've got many viewers all over the country and all over the world who are tuning in tonight to this matchup, as well as the other matchups going on in the NWSL this evening. Jess Fishlock will play the Rapinoe. The ball won there by DiBernardo. Nice little footwork there by Sofia Huerta. That'll go out of play for a Seattle Reign throw-in. For Brooks. Won by the Red Stars, Huerta, but Seattle gets it right back. Kwan. Kolupny with a little fancy footwork there, but the ball is won by Fishlock. Won by Kolupny, and Kolupny cover a lot of ground tonight for the Chicago Red Stars, the team captain.
I don't know that play in that defensive center mid holding midfielder is what Lori's been playing a lot in the last few weeks or days, and certainly a different role for her. But she can really settle the ball and spray the ball around for Chicago in that midfield, and I think that will help them tonight.
Solo will play it out to Reed, who will play it out wide for Seattle. Nicely tackled away there by Chicago. Kwan. Ursig. Play that one forward. Battle in the midfield there that Seattle is winning and will get. On the near side. This is Stephanie Cox playing it. Back it goes to Cox. Won by the Red Stars. DiBernardo takes possession of the ball. We'll switch sides over to one of the rookies starting tonight for the Red Stars. So out of Santa Clara. Was drafted in the second round, 11th overall in the 2015 NWSL College Draft. And if there's one thing that Chicago Red Stars fans should be very, very pleased about, is the success that the Chicago Red Stars seem to have in the 2015 draft.
I think both 2014 and 15 got 6 of their draft picks in that starting lineup tonight, and I think that says a lot about the players they brought in and them using them and bringing them along and having an impact. Certainly the 2015 with Huerta and Colaprico, you're going to see them, I think, have an immediate impact on this Red Stars team.
Well, you bring up 2014, and the woman who's on the ball for the Red Stars was one of the Chicago Red Stars draft picks that had a very good season last year, was the NWSL Rookie of the Year, so the 2014 and 15 draft classes for the Red Stars have paid off very well.
Absolutely. Julie had a great season. She's had a great run, I think, with the national team and making that World Cup roster. She's just grown so much as a player through that U20 event. Fortunate to work with Continue to Grow. She's a real player in this league, and I think will be a player with our national team.
Well, Johnston's already made herself an impact with the national team here in 2015. Has scored a couple of goals, one in the Algarve Cup and one in that friendly against New Zealand down in St. Louis back on April the 4th. In the 6th minute, Seattle with the ball here in the 6th minute. And I think Seattle does very well its offense. Kim Little gets that one tackled away from her. DiBernardo will play it. A little collision there in the midfield, and this is one of those games. Seattle has made on their mind. The Chicago Red Stars ended the Seattle Rain's 16-match unbeaten streak back on July 12th of last season. Ursig will tackle the ball away for the Red Stars. Jen Hoy trying to dance around the defenders, but it's easily won by Seattle. Cox to Rapinoe. Rapinoe with a left-footed service, trying to get that one in the area. Merritt Mathias making the run. Nicely defended. And we're talking about a Chicago Red Stars backline, second in the league last season in goals against, only allowed 26, second to Seattle's 20 last season.
Yeah, certainly two solid defenses, solid goalkeepers. This is not going to be easy for anybody to get a goal. A really composed, very senior, I think, back line for the Reign. Lauren Barnes, Kendall Fletcher, seasoned veterans to this sport and in this game, and they certainly keep things under control back there.
And that's certainly the big difference between this match in Seattle's Western New York. Chicago, a much, much better team defensively.
And I think Pino being healthy has certainly sparked their offense, but I think they'll have a test tonight to get behind this back line and through this midfield. I think that's going to be as big a challenge as to get Kim Little running free with the ball so she can play some balls in behind this back line that really test them.
Well, so far it's been a pretty big battle in the midfield between the two teams, and I think that's a lot of where the ball is going to be played tonight, and a lot of where this game is going to be won.
I think both teams right now are trying to get a little bit of a rhythm. Certainly the Red Stars, with this being their first game, the pace is going to be frantic, and talking to Laura Harvey, she have to kind of weather the frantic pace for a little bit and then hope that the game settled down and that they could settle it down. Both teams still looking for that. We're not seeing a lot of passes strung together yet.
No, but as we settle down here in this game, as a free kick has been awarded to the Seattle Reign, Lori Kalepny committing the foul in the midfield. Kendall Fletcher will play to the side. Now it's played forward. Amber Brooks out to Mathias and plays the pass too long, and it'll be out of bounds for a Chicago Red Stars throw-in. And you're right about the pace of this game so far. I think it's kind of a feeling out process. The first match for the Chicago Red Stars in the 2015 season, and just kind of getting a feel of what's going on so far on the field and just playing a little conservative, not trying to do too much with it until they settle down and try to figure things out. Ball taken away from Johnson by Rapinoe. Rapinoe misplays the ball, and Kwan has an easy clear for Chicago. One right back there by Jen Hoy. Danielle Colaprico, one of the other rookies starting tonight for Rory Dane Stars, will lose the ball and will go out now for a Chicago Red Stars throw-in.
But that's the kind of stuff you see Danielle Colaprico do. Julie turned the ball over, and Rapinoe's kind of going into goal, and the next thing you know, Dani Colaprico's there to kind of thwart that attempt, and then she's in space to get the ball. She's the kind of both sides of the ball that like that.
That ball is played over the top and not catch up to it. And that's the thing about the draft for the Chicago Red Stars. Colaprico, drafted in the first round, 9th overall. She is Virginia's all-time leader in assists with 44 and appearances with 100. So some pretty quality players picked up in the 2015 draft. Red Stars win another throw-in here in the 10th floor. That ball is taken away there by Kim Little. Fishlock plays it back. Seattle play it down the line. Lax coming off, a Chicago Red Stars player. It'll be a Seattle throw-in. One of 4 home matches in a row for the 15 season. And 1 week, another big test is the Portland Town. So 2 very big matches for the Red Stars to start the campaign. Well, fancy footwork outside the 18 for Seattle. Cross sent in the box away by Chicago.
And that's a key matchup on that flank is, Ursig really has to deal with these central midfielders. And so, Mathias on Kwan out there is pace-wise, the physicality, certainly I think, that's going to be something that Kwan has to deal with.
And Kwan is not exactly the biggest player out of the pitch for the Chicago Red Stars, so she's not going to win very many physical battles.
No, but she's a smart player, and it's going to be her smarts against Matthias, and we'll see how that goes.
Now Rachel Kwan, she was a second-round selection for the Red Stars in the 2013 NWSL draft, and played in 19 matches for the Red Stars last season, starting in all 19. So that's some Rory Dames. That ball played out wide. The Red Stars trying to mount an attack here, but still on the ball, and a long shot taken, and that's going to be airmailed over the byline. No problem there for Hope Solo. Go out of bounds for a Seattle goal kick.
I think it's important now that the Reign gets Steph Cox involved in this game. Right now, Danny Colaprico is able to kind of tuck in and help out in that midfield and really overload the center of the midfield. It looks like 4 Chicago Red Stars against the 3 in there. But as soon as Cox gets forward, that's going to cause some more problems for them.
Abby Ursig with the header. One in the midfield by the Reign. Little will play it to Matthias. Brooks will play it out wide. Little on the overlapping run in the corner. Ursig marking her. The ball taken away there by the Red Stars. Back and forth battle. Seattle wins it back. Ball near the 6. And a shot taken there by Beverly Yanez, but easily in the hands of Karina LeBlanc.
A great little ball there by Kim Little to get that ball into Yanez. And that's where, Kim Little is great. Just seeing those a lot of players see.
Well, that makes her one of the more important players on the roster for the Seattle Reign. NWSL MVP this past season. Definitely was one of those players who helped the Seattle Reign finish in first place in the league and make it all the way to the NWSL championship match.
Certainly one of the more creative players in the league. Dynamic without the ball, dynamic with the ball. I think probably really hard to defend and scheme for because she's just so active.
A nice little ball out wide. Colaprico with the cross. Looking for Jen Hoy, but it's easily cleared away by the Seattle Reign backline. Nice idea, though, and some good vision there by the rookie, Danielle Colaprico, to send that ball in.
Yeah, that's a great ball. If Jen Hoy can hit that line, or even if Huerta was a little bit higher, she gets on the end of that. And that's a ball that's tough for those back line. That back line bent behind them, but, not close enough for Hope to even think about coming out.
Well, it's one of those things where you have to have the vision enough and not just see the tunnel right in front of you when you have possession of the ball.
And do that. That's why she's the leading assist player at Virginia. Without seeing the game.
Ball in a dangerous area. It's cleared away by Seattle, but looks like we have a whistle. It'll be a free kick for Seattle here in the 15th minute. Here in the opening match of the 2015 season for the Chicago Red Stars. And Solo will send a booming ball across the midfield line. In the midfield by Chicago. Easily corralled back to Solo, who will kick it away again. And now Seattle finally settles. Kolupny wins the ball, passes it to DiBernardo. Seattle will win it back. Now here comes the Reign. Merritt Mathias out wide. Brooks will send the right-footed service looking for the back post. That's a good idea there, looking for Rapinoe on the back post. It's headed out. It'll be a Seattle throw-in.
And there was that attack down that right flank and able to find a midfielder to serve that ball across. And that's going to be something I think Seattle keeps trying.
Corner kick in the match for either team, and Rapinoe will be doing the honors for the Seattle Reign.
I'm not sure want to be looking at those two creative players on the corner. You put those two together and the ball at their feet coming at you. That's certainly a lot of creativity and ability right there.
And it's certainly one of those things where you're not quite sure what they're going to do. Are they going to play it short? Well, Rapinoe sends it into the box, and it's cleared away by Julie Johnston. Fishlot tries to send it back in, gets a nice little deflection. Last comes off Chicago. It'll be Ellie Reed to take the throw in for the Seattle Reign. That attempted cross is blocked by DiBernardo. Red Stars finally win the ball. Jen Hoy tries to run onto it, one right back by the Reign. Brooks to Fishlock. Cox back to Fishlock. It's taken away by Chicago. Kristen Press trying to spin around there, but gets the ball taken away. Kendall Fletcher with it. Barnes to Fletcher, and Fletcher will solo.
Cool would be a word I would use to describe this back four for Seattle. Barnes, Cox, they just don't get easily rattled, and Hope Solo behind them certainly helps that. So you're not going to get rattled this back line too easily.
And there's another story of continuity. In their first matchup against Western New York, as Kolupny has the ball for the Red Stars, but it's taken away. Nice play there by Amber Brooks. The only change in the starting lineup tonight for Seattle, replacing Winters. In their first match against Western New York, the Seattle Reign started 10 of the 11 players that they started last season.
And I think that's Laura Harvey putting together a roster that she knows she can move forward with and have some consistency with. And, talking to her, this is a team that still wants to get better, even the run that they had last year and certainly not winning the championship. So it's a hungry team that's really on just getting better as opposed to what results they can get. So, their goal tonight is to be better than they were in the last game on areas that, most of us probably didn't see in a 5-1 victory. But this team is really working on getting better, knowing that it's how you play at the end. And so how they improve along the way is an important.
Well, there's a chip inside the box, headed for goal, but just trying to decide if that was more of a cross, if anything. It certainly looked like it, but had that opportunity, especially with the wind blowing, to change direction and head towards goal.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jen was crossing that or shooting that, but it certainly came off the crossbar, so she'll take it as a shot.
Absolutely. I would definitely want to give her credit for that. Matthias will win the ball away for Seattle, fighting against Huerta. The Seattle Reign will win the throw-in as we take a look at the replay there. And nice little idea there. Just try to get to the back post in the area of somebody who might be able to finish it if they were there. Ball is bouncing around right now here in the 20th minute. A scoreless matchup between Seattle and Chicago. Teams met 3 times previously last season, each winning on their home field. Chicago Red Stars snapping the Seattle Reign 16-match unbeaten streak back on July 12th, and they also tied a match as well in Seattle. That cross is sent in towards Rapinoe, nicely shielded there by Kolupny. And Rapinoe.
Welcome to pro soccer, Danielle Colaprico.
Rapinoe will knock down Colaprico, and that's right, that's a nice little welcome card for her.
I think right now with the wind and the surface and it being the Red Stars' first game, I think both teams are still to really get some possession going, and I think we'll see that change as the game goes on. I think you'll start to see this ball move around and the game really have a little bit more rhythm to it because both these teams, I think, have the players now that can play.
Well, there's certainly a lot of talent on the field for both squads, especially the Chicago Red Stars. 8 players, 3 countries, selected for World Cup duty coming up this summer.
And that's certainly going to be a challenge for the Red Stars. And, talked to Coach Dames about that. And he said, not only like our starting 11, and you could argue whether we have the best 11, but we might have the best 20. And that's going to be important for them as they lose players to the World Cup.
Well, that's especially important when it comes to drafting players. You know you're coming up on a World Cup year, and you know you've got 8 players who at the time could be potentially selected for World Cup duty, so you have to have a good draft, and I think the Chicago Red Stars went out there and got exactly what they needed to compensate for losing those World Cup players.
Absolutely. I think they've got the players. Certainly Sam Johnston sitting on the bench that can come in and play in the back. There's players on the bench, certainly can step in and keep things going when those players leave to go to the World Cup.
And it definitely helps to have all of those moving pieces, be a little creative with your lineup. Rapinoe has it out wide for the sends it towards the middle. Ball was laid back looking for Kim Little, but deflected away and then shot over the byline for a goal kick for Chicago.
Coming there with Kolupny and Little, certainly having to deal with that. Very savvy, can follow that movement, and certainly is making Kim Little's job pretty hard tonight.
Well, she'll definitely be one of the players factoring in the Women's World Cup for the United States coming this summer. Last year with the Chicago Red Stars, played in 23 games, started 22 of them, was team captain both in 2013 and 2014, and again this year for Chicago.
She's a seasoned veteran, and she's got the leadership. She knows what this team wants to do, and that's why she mix. She's a veteran who understands this game, who doesn't get rattled with situation problems, and it's great to have her as the captain for the Red Stars, and great to have her back with our national team.
Scored her first goal in international play at the friendly against New Zealand back on April 4th in her hometown of St. Louis, so that was definitely a good way for her to get back on the national team picture.
I'm sure that's got to feel good for her, to come off the bench in that game and hit a great strike that found the back of the net. That certainly has to make everybody feel good that, if we need that in the World Cup, she's got the ability to get in and get those kind of things done.
Play for the national team for many years as Kim Little is on the ball for Seattle, sends that chip and the header taken and just wide of the goal by the Reign.
Yeah, one of the few times that Little's been able to get the ball in that attacking third and be facing up and not have pressure. And those are going to be dangerous situations for the Red Stars. They don't want to see that very often. Especially
with a team as talented as the Seattle Reign are. And they've got plenty of players who can score some goals. Rapinoe with a hat trick on Sunday. Jess Fishlock also added a goal in that matchup with the Western New York Flash.
Yeah, those two were a pretty dynamic duo, Fishlock and Rapinoe in that first game. And Kim Little was a little bit quiet. You talked to Coach Harvey. She wasn't really happy with her performance, had played Scotland and may have had a little fatigue in that first game. So I think she's out tonight to prove that that was a once-off and ready to get it done and have a little bit better performance tonight.
Yeah, fatigue is definitely playing a factor, especially when you're traveling all over the place, doing some national team duty. It catches up to you after a while.
And this is going to be a long season. Coach Dame said, we got to remember this is a marathon, not a sprint, and it's a long season, and everybody's going to have to be a part of that. And as these players have national team duty and club duty, but it's awesome for the women's game that's what we're talking about. We're talking about those kinds of things and them having to balance. I think it's a great situation that we found ourselves in.
And to kind of compensate for the World Cup year, the NWSL schedule in 2015 was shortened from 24 games last year to 20 games this year. So it's a little bit less of a burden for those players who have that national team duty.
Yeah, and that's going to help. Who it might help the most is the players who don't have that national team duty that have a little bit lighter schedule have to pick up the load. And the national team players, they're still going to be playing lots of games. Their fatigue is going to be their fatigue, but maybe it helps those that are going to be here and have to play a little bit more with those players gone. So certainly I think it'll help the quality of the game.
A cross set in there by Beverly Yanez, on the back post, but it floats harmlessly over the byline for a goal kick for Chicago. 26 minute here, still no score between the Red Stars and the Reign here at Benedictine University. First match in the 2015 season for Chicago.
And it kind of looks a little bit like a first match. Certainly a little bit of, not a whole lot of rhythm, a lot of battling, a lot of trying to figure out, their opponent and figuring out themselves a little bit as they play this first game.
Well, it's definitely looked very choppy at times. The Chicago Red Stars, undefeated in the preseason, didn't even give up a goal in their preseason slate, so that was definitely a good sign going into the season.
Yeah, certainly, and as they continued with their defensive prowess that they showed during the season last year, and certainly with those college games that they played teams down. And I think they feel confident with their defense going into this season as a result of that.
Well, now their defensive test coming up here for Chicago as the Seattle Reign have won another corner kick. And again, we have Little and Megan Rapinoe in the corner, and we talked about the creativity during the first corner kick. Not quite sure what they're going to do, how they're going to handle this corner kick situation.
You know, when you have those two creative players, it certainly draws, you know, the Red Stars out. You see they have to pull two out there. Can't let those two creative players. And then it just puts a little bit more for just that, for Kendall Fletcher to find the end of it and give herself a chance.
And Kendall Fletcher sneaking in the back door, getting in on goal on Karina LeBlanc, but LeBlanc able to make the save, and will roll it out for Chicago. If you take a look at the replay here, that's a great service from the corner kick, and right on target to get enough on it, easy for LeBlanc to save.
Yeah, just, you know, had to reach. Wasn't quite to the ball yet. Obviously got her head on it, but really couldn't generate any power, and an easy save for LeBlanc. But I know Rory Dames won't be happy with her getting in that space and having a free header on the ball like that. That's not something that he'll want to see happen again.
Well, that right there shows as much creativity as it does precision to send one in like that.
I think she's proven over the years with the U.S. national team that she can serve a ball, wants it when she wants to, and that it can be dangerous. And you know, when she gets to do it from a dead start on a corner kick, you know, you have to handle that.
Well, here's Hemmings on the ball for the Chicago Red Stars. They're trying to get something together here, and tries to send the ball in the box to Kristen Press, and Press was nicely marked there by the Seattle Reign. Press has that ability with her speed to get past defenders, so with her, it's more of you have to contain her. You can't let her get past.
You know, I think the pace with Press and Hoya certainly something that defenders are going to have to deal with. But the thing with Press is she can start with the ball at her foot and do things well, and she can take off and burn you without the ball and be in that space in behind you. So that she's a little bit of a double-edged sword, and she's a pretty efficient finisher. And I think that makes her a dangerous player to have on the Stars.
Well, she won the ball away from Megan Rapinoe, but Rapinoe wins it right back, and here come the Seattle Reign. Yanez with it. We'll play it back. Brooks to Rapinoe. Cox will send it to Rapinoe. In the middle to Little. Over to Amber Brooks. That ball will be sent over the top, but cleared away by Chicago, but Seattle wins it right back. They're going to switch the point of attack now. That ball is going to be sent over there to Yanez. And taken away there, but taken right back by Seattle. Ursig fighting, but will give up the corner kick to the Seattle Reign here in the 30th minute.
Balls that the Red Stars have given away there in the back, that they certainly want to clean that up in the second half and not give away these chances to Seattle. They're good enough at creating their own. You don't need to give them a couple.
Well, it's defensively solid as the Chicago. That's a great point, Janet, about giving up some balls that you don't necessarily want to give up in the defensive third of the field. That ball sent to the back post and headed in. Beverly Yanez gets the Seattle Reign on the board first here in the 30th minute.
Yeah, and that's again, a great ball off the corner to that back post. You know, tough for LeBlanc to get to it. Thought LeBlanc was going to get a hand on it. You can see Yanez starts on the post, so and floats out and then floats back in, and just not marked there on the post. Tough one for whether she's coming off that post or not.
Give the assist to Megan Rapinoe on the corner kick, and we just talked about her ability to put the ball wherever she wants, whenever she wants on set pieces.
Yeah, and she struck that a little bit with the outside foot and bent that ball, so I think made it pretty tough there. And like I said, Yanez starts on the post, so it makes it a little bit difficult, pops off, and then pops right back into that space right where the ball landed on her head. Great goal.
Well, she scored 5 goals last season for the Seattle Reign in 24 games. Continuing the scoring this season for Seattle. Now see if the Chicago can get one back.
Talking to Coach Harvey, was one of the players who, she said surprise isn't probably,
Hey, there we go! The Chicago Red Stars get one back. Kristen Press with the equalizer less than a minute later.
Just trying to and Kristen Press puts one away, ball bouncing around. She wins the ball, gets behind that defense, and like I said,
Well, she definitely won the ball and made some quick work out of it. Hope Solo would just kind of caught no man's land right there. Couldn't really do anything about that.
You know, they're battling for the ball, and she's back, you know, pretty far back as her defenders are battling. And Kristen does a great job of finishing that before Hope can really get out and shut things down, and before those defenders can recover.
Well, you talk about the resiliency of the Chicago Red Stars. That's one of those things they have definitely done. They did last season to even put themselves in position to be playoff eligible, and we show that again right there. They're never really out of any match. They feel.
Absolutely, I think that's that's their identity, their resiliency, their fight, their grit, and Coach Dame said that's not something they want to lose, and that's an identity that they're proud of and want to keep as they go into this 2015 season.
You know, usually they make us wait a little bit, like they did in that last match against Western New York last season, where they scored 2 second-half goals, one in stoppage time and a penalty kick to even put themselves in position to be playoff eligible. Took about a minute and a half for the Stars to equalize tonight.
Yeah, we talked about these two great defenses, and then we see 2 goals in less than a minute. So that goes to show you it doesn't take a lot. A great finish, a restart, and then all of a sudden, the ball can be in the back of the net. So it's the exciting thing about this game. You've got players like Kristen Pino that can serve a ball. So I think both of these teams have some goal-scoring ability.
And as, we are level again, I would suspect that this play is about to open up. I think the two teams now with a couple of goals scored have kind of felt each other out a little bit, and now you're going to see the play open up a little bit.
I think you're going to start to see a little bit more possession. You can see, Seattle's getting their outside backs forward a little bit more. There's Ellie Reed down on that flank. You saw Steph Cox getting in and combining with Rapinoe. So I think they're a little bit more comfortable now with their possession, and I think you're going to see that, and that's going to leave them vulnerable to a little bit of a counterattack with Hoy and press. And then that's sort of what happened on that goal. So hopefully you can see that start to play on both sides.
Well, this Red Stars broadcast is brought to you today in part by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association. Connect with youth soccer throughout Illinois at Illinois Youth Soccer. 1-1 here in the 34th minute. Beverly Yanez feed from Megan Rapinoe on a corner kick in the 30th minute gave Seattle the lead, but in the 32nd minute, Kristen Press stole the ball away and fired one right past Hope Solo to even it up. Minute and a half. So there's your game recap so far. Brett Myers alongside University of Illinois head women's soccer coach Janet Rayfield, and for a opening match of the season, the Chicago Red Stars so far, Chicago Red Stars fans have been treated as something pretty awesome.
Well, I think in the first game, you give up the first goal. To have a response like that, that says a lot, and that kind of sets the tone. That's the expectation, and they're not rattled by giving up a goal, and here they're right back in.
And there we go. There is the game leading goal scored by the Chicago Red Stars off the feed from Kristen Press. And Jen Hoy tallies her first marker of the season. Nice feed from Press there.
Nice, again, that bent ball that we saw early in the game, that ball got bent back across to Kristen Press, and she brings that ball down. Now she's on the end of that bent ball and got the Seattle defense facing their own goal. So Kendall, I think Fletcher's there on Hoy, but she's facing her own goal, makes it really difficult. Great goal. That bent ball that's Hoy, those two are doing a great job finding each other.
And that dangerousness up top. Press and Jen Hoy has given the Chicago Red Stars a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, and I think that was Dani Colaprico that served that bent ball. She served it earlier in the game when we talked about it going all the way across, and this time found Christian Press on the end of that and Jen Hoy. So I think a great adjustment and certainly an attack down that flank that Stars will want to continue to utilize.
Well, if they gave secondary assists in soccer like they did in hockey, you'd definitely give one to Colaprico.
Absolutely, and then they do on occasion, so I think she deserves one.
I agree with that. If she does not make that bent ball, that play never happens. So business has really started to pick up here at Benedictine University. 2 goals within a 4-minute span for the Chicago Red Stars have given them a 2-1 lead.
And I think now they're going to want to settle down and hopefully shore things up defensively. They'd love to go into this halftime, up a goal. And now they want to be tight defensively for the rest of this half for sure.
Well, that's definitely the back line that can do it in Quan, Johnston, Ursig. They just got to settle down a little bit, but I think the Red Stars are hungry for some more goals. His press is on the ball. Sends that one long down the field, and Colaprico trying to make a run. One there by the Seattle Reign, and Fletcher gets that one deflected away. And that's kind of the nice combination of players that you have. You've got some veterans on the field for Chicago, but you've got the rookies who are already making impact.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good blend. You know, I think that's true throughout the league. I think if you look at these rosters, you know, from top to bottom, and not all of them are starting, but there's some great youth in this league and some great experience. You got someone like Kendall Fletcher who's been around, you know, I think at the age of 30 and has so much experience and so much to offer these young players in the league. And then you got some young players who are really continuing to improve and continuing to grow.
Shot taken by Kim Little, and that's going to go wide of the goal. Did that get a deflection? It looks like it did, and it'll be another corner kick for Seattle. They're fourth so far here in the match.
You know, it's a little bit end to end. You know, I think bypassing the midfield here as they struggle to get through that, and both teams now I think are getting their chances.
Well, I know we saw the choppiness in the first 30 minutes of the matchup, and that's what we were talking about. We're talking about the match now opening up for the Chicago Red Stars and the Seattle Reign. Scored off a corner kick the last time. This time around that corner deflected away, but one right back by Kim Little. She's going to send the cross in towards LeBlanc. That's bouncing around, and it's another goal for Seattle. Kendall Fletcher with the marker.
And a little bit of an unfortunate bounce in the box there, you know, gets played back out. You know, and that's a tough one on a corner kick. Ball gets played back out, finding your matchups and finding your marks in the box. Certainly something the Red Stars really are going to have to sort out, you know, in the second half, and certainly as the season moves forwards in terms of finding those marks in the box and, you know, not letting the player get through there in the box and finish a ball like that.
And that was one of those. Kendall Fletcher just has the ball fortunately bounced towards her head, and just an easy finish.
You know, and that's where, you know, as a Red Star, you have to be in there so that if it does bounce to her, you're able to defend that.
Well, this match was scoreless for the first 30 minutes. In the next 7 or 8 after that, we've had 4 goals.
And, you know, I don't think anybody would have predicted that we'd have a 2-2 halftime score with a 2 top from last fall.
No, and I would agree with that point, Janet. You would think that this game maybe would end 1-0, 1-1. That's about it, but things have really opened up so far.
You know, and I think that just talks a little bit about, you know, the players in this league and the attacking ability and the creativity and some of the, you know, players we have that can make things happen. And it's going to be an exciting season, that's for sure.
Well, Amber Brooks and Lori Kolupny have a collision, and Kolupny looks a little shaken up there at the 34-yard line. And Kolupny, and that's a player that Chicago Red Stars really can't afford to lose, taking her knocks. One of the players for the Chicago Red Stars who not only commits a lot of fouls, but gets a lot of fouls committed on her.
You know, I think she gives and takes pretty equal. Probably leads in fouls and leads in player being fouled. So out, but she gets her fair share as well.
Well, she certainly was that last season for the Chicago Red Stars, as Abby Ursig will take the free kick. Gets a little physical. We've seen a little goals within the first 41 minutes.
Yeah, certainly have seen a lot of, you know, and goals being scored different ways. It should be an exciting half.
Absolutely, and for the first match of the year, that is definitely a way to set the tone, not only for the Chicago Red Stars, but in a match that the Seattle Reign dominated on Sunday with a 5-1 victory. This is an...
Yeah, you know, and I don't think either team's going to be happy with the goals that they gave up. You know, I don't think they're happy with giving up those goals off of restarts and situations where they can mark in the box. And, you know, I think in transition, the Reign's not going to be real happy with the goals they gave up either in terms of just getting beat in transition. That's certainly something that they'll probably want to try to solve in the second half.
Colaprico with the long ball. Kristen Press now on it for Chicago. Kristen Press will send the service over the top. Nicely shielded there by Megan Rapinoe. And that's one of the aspects of Rapinoe's game. She has that ability to go both ends of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I think with Taryn Hemmings getting forward, it forced Rapinoe to get in. And this is starting to become a battle of the outside backs and who can get forward and challenge those players to defend them. You know, can Taryn Hemmings get forward, or is it going to be, or is it Stephanie Cox going to get forward, or is it going to be Ellie Reed? So I think as that midfield battle plays out, the outside backs getting forward are starting to be an important part of this game.
Well, DiBernardo will take the free kick after the Rapinoe foul, sends that one into the area, and controlled now by Kim Little. Out to Rapinoe, who will send it long down the field and attack. Beverly Yana is one of the goal scorers for the Seattle Reign. We'll look for the overlapping run for Jess Fishlock, and it looks like she is going to be ruled offside, maybe just a
for two. And there you saw the sophistication of Lori Kolupny, tracking that run out of the until she got even with Julie Johnson, and then letting her go into that offsides position. Great communication with Lori and Julie as they dealt with that sort of transition moment.
Ellie Reed will take possession of the ball, taken away in the midfield by Kolupny. Now DiBernardo with it. 45-2. Merritt Mathias gets down, and it'll be a foul called against the Chicago Red Stars. Our referee pointed the wrong way for just a split second. I was a little bit confused there. It's like, that's not the right way, but he corrected himself.
Got it right in the end. That's all that matters.
Absolutely, and it hasn't been really a physical match until just recently, but it's definitely had a little bit of everything. Red Stars with it, a nice ball played over the top, but Jen Hoy, just like Jess, a step or two offside.
Yeah, just bent her run a little bit too soon. Started running across that line and just bent, before the ball got served, and certainly in an offside position.
And I think that may be one of those things where you're just looking for that opportunity to get a shot on goal, and you're a little too quick on it.
Yeah, and with her need to take off that early, she certainly got the pace to challenge players, even if she takes off a little late.
Well, this Red Stars broadcast is brought to you in part by Color, the official printer of the Chicago Red Stars. If you have any printing needs, find them online at bloomingcolor.com. Kim Little on the ball. Sends a left-footed cross, looking for Rapinoe. Rapinoe headed away. Amber Brooks will win the ball back, but Ursig will clear for the Chicago Red Stars. One there by Taryn Hemmings, and Julie Johnston will play it forward. Rapinoe will win the header. Played back there to Lauren Barnes. Rapinoe tries to send the ball through, played back. A little 1-2 passing to the outside. Cox with it on her left foot to Rapinoe. Plays into Fishlock, one there by Kolupny and cleared. Cox again with it, sends that one through, nobody making a run onto it. It'll harmlessly go over the byline into Chicago Local 134. And they have got numbers out there tonight. Nice to see them have reached the first half stoppage time.
It's a great crowd. The Chicagoans are out, and they're excited to see their team. And you got stands full and end zones full. Crowd tonight for their first game out.
Absolutely. We've only got 1 minute of stoppage time, according to our fourth official. Surprising, considering the number of goals that we had scored here in this first half.
Yeah, I guess they got restarted quickly after those goals. I think both teams right now are going to try to get into this, into the locker room, regroup a little bit, see why they're giving up goals that they're used to doing, and try to solve that.
Well, as we approach the end of the half, Jess Fishlock will send the cross into the box, and it's going to roll over the byline in what should probably be the final play here in this first half. And a very exciting first half it has been here at Benedictine.
It certainly has been a goal-scoring few minutes there. 30 minutes of feeling each other out, and then 15 minutes of scoring goals on each other.
David Mon blows the halftime whistle, and your score at halftime, the Chicago Red Stars 2, the Seattle Reign 2. We'll be back after these short sponsor messages with the Red Stars halftime show presented by C.J. Wilson Mazda of Orland Park, Countryside and Lake Villa, where you can drive what the Red Stars drive.
Time of this Red Stars game is presented by C.J. Wilson Mazda. C.J. Wilson Mazda is offering Red Stars fans $500 on their next C.J. Wilson Mazda. Bring your ticket stub with you on your C.J. Wilson Mazda test drive for details. Drive what the Red Stars drive. Visit C.J. Wilson Mazda online at zoomzoomnation.com. Visit them in Orland Park on 159th Street in Countryside on LaGrange Road, and in Lake Villa on Grand Avenue.
Then in second half action, stop by the Chicago Red Stars Coach Timetable. Grab all the Red Stars gear for the season. Let's get back to the 2015 Red Stars.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, back here at Benedictine University in what was a very entertaining first half between the Seattle Reign and the Chicago Red Stars. Brett Myers alongside University of Illinois women's head coach Janet Rayfield. We didn't have anything really going until the 30th minute, but then the scoring started happening. And we'll go back to that first goal in that first half. The Seattle Reign got on the board for a Beverly Yanez goal. But we'll get back to the highlights here in just 1 second as we are going to send it to the Red Stars' own Scott Kosak. He is with Chicagoland's own Toma Dobrosavljevic, the most recent winner of NBC's TV show, The Biggest Loser.
Thank you, Brett and Janet. I am standing here with somebody all of you may have seen on TV over the last several months before he was named NBC's The Biggest Loser. Talking to Toma Dobrosavljevic. Believe me. Tell me if I got it right. Toma, you are here at the Red Stars game. You brought our tournament tonight. Beautiful nights in the world. Women's professional soccer. Tell me what it's like watching these ladies compete. And how does that compare to what you did on The Biggest Loser?
Absolutely amazing. I mean, these women are doing something that I think everybody would love to. Everyone who plays soccer would love to be able to do. They're playing professional soccer, they're out there competing, and it's awesome. And it's an amazing experience. And being in The Biggest Loser, it was an amazing experience for me. And the competition, it's just seeing these women go through that. It's awesome.
You mentioned competition. This season of The Biggest was a little unique. It was 20 former professional athletes. Tell me about your experience and what brought you to that stage.
It was unbelievable. I was surrounded with, there was 19 other amazing athletes. It was a competition like no other for pretty much our lives. So I wanted to get healthy again, and it was great to be crowned The Biggest Loser. But most of I have my health again, and I can go out and compete and do the things that I love doing, like playing soccer, and I'm really grateful for that.
That's awesome, and congratulations to you. Now, a big part of what you are doing, now you've got this platform where you can help others. You're supporting Project Ladybug.
Yeah, tonight I'm supporting ATS Project Ladybug Fund. It's an amazing group. They do a lot with kids in Children's Comers Hospital. They basically help kids who are going through cancer treatments. These are kids who really need a lot of help, and they're supportive to help them, give them the things they need to just really make their day.
That's awesome. And obviously the Chicago Red Stars are proud to help too, because we're supporting a portion of the Club Reserve tickets sold tonight to help give back to Project Ladybug as well.
Can't thank you guys enough for doing that for me. I really appreciate it. It's a great, like I said, it's a great call. You guys helping out with that is just amazing. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. In closing, one tip you would give to people who are struggling with wanting to overcome weight challenges of their own. What would be the one thing that you would tell them to say, you too can be a Biggest Loser and survive and overcome the challenges you're with?
You can do anything you put your mind to, and if you want to lose the weight, do it. And give me a call. Let's do it together.
Toma, The Biggest Loser, proud to call you that. Congratulations again, and thank you for coming out and supporting the Chicago Red Stars.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. As we continue halftime here at Benedictine University, we're going to take a short break between halves, and we want to invite you to enjoy the fascinating sport of bubble soccer.
This week's matchup pits participants from Maine West High School, and it's made possible courtesy of Knockerball Chicago. Enjoy. Welcome back here to Benedictine University at halftime of this matchup between the Chicago Red Stars and the Seattle Reign. At this time, it is time for an interview with Red Stars owner Artem Whistler.
Artem, as we get into the 2015 season, what is your outlook for the season?
Well, you know, we've been waiting for this third year since the league started. We kind of saw, given that we didn't get one of the strongest allocations the first year, Rory knew that it was going to take a couple of years to kind of team that he liked to play the kind of soccer that he likes to play. So this is the year. We've got everybody that we want on the field. We have virtually everyone back from last year. And so we have all the pieces to make a real run.
Now, as the league in general goes into the third season, how are your feelings about the future of the league as it is right now?
Well, we have I'd start with, we have an incredibly strong ownership group. All the owners were brought in, who they are, we know about their commitment, we know why they're in the league, and we're with the ownership group. We also have a very committed partner, U.S. Soccer, and that relationship's going extremely well. We have a number of things. We just had an owner meeting a week or two ago on Friday, and we have a number of things that we've got to work out, but it's more about the 10-year plan. It's not about the 1-year plan or the 5-year, it's the 10-year plan. And with the amount of money that the owners and the league are putting into the U.S. Soccer are putting into the league, we're going to have a heck of a product. We're already arguably the top league in the world, top to bottom. There are a couple other leagues that have some great 1 and 2, but when you get below that, it drops off pretty quickly. So what we're trying to do is make sure that while we watch sustainability, while we make sure that this league is going to be around for a long time, we find a way to get the salary levels up, to keep the players that we want in the league, and to draw some additional internationals, and to create the environment that's exciting, to play in, so that the players are well taken care of.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and we will be back after this with the second half, Chicago Red Stars.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, some first half highlights for you from Benedictine University.
Halftime presented by CJ Wilson Mazda. CJ Wilson Mazda is offering Red Stars fans $500 on their next CJ Wilson Mazda. Bring your ticket stub with you on your CJ Wilson Mazda test drive for details. Drive what the Red Stars drive. Visit CJ Wilson Mazda online at zoomzoomnation.com. Park on 159th Street, in Countryside on LaGrange Road, and in Lake Villa on Grand Avenue.
Back here at Benedictine University in matchup between the Chicago Red Stars and the Seattle Reign. Taking a look at some first half highlights. A nice little back heel there. Kim Lisle will send that one back, but the cross is deflected. There's a attempt there by Beverly Yanez. Red Stars trying to get something going there, but cannot do so. It's easily cleared away. Things really didn't get going in this matchup until a little bit later on, about the 30th minute, as we see a header there, missed just wide. And there, right there, is a shot on goal by Kendall Fletcher into the arms of Karina LeBlanc. Some set-piece chances, and there's the first goal of the matchup, a header into the back of the net. Janet?
Yeah, the first corner gets played in, and Kendall Fletcher gets a head on it, and then back post. I think it's actually maybe Sophie Huerta who's on that back post and kind of gets caught watching the ball, but right back they come, and Christian Press puts one away, just tucks that underneath Hope Solo.
Great goal there by the U.S. international Kristen Press. Hope Solo could not do anything about it. That's when the scoring really started to open. This is where the Chicago Red Stars took the lead. That nice little there, Kristen Press feeds it into Jen Hoy, and Hoy finishes it with the right foot.
Yeah, I think we looked and thought that it had actually been Colaprico who bent that ball in. It was actually Taryn Hemmings coming forward out of the back, and that ball, great touch by Kristen Press, and then just played that ball across, and Jen Hoy getting in on the end of it. A great finish.
But the Seattle Reign would equalize. Another set-piece opportunity. Kendall Fletcher in the right place at the right time will head it in, and that's why this match 2-2 as we approach the start of the second half here at Benedictine University. And as second half, Janet Rayfield, what do you suppose the two teams could stand to do as we go into the second half?
Well, I definitely think that, Seattle's going to try to get a little bit more possession. You saw, I think, getting numbers around the ball, especially on this left flank with Cox and Rapinoe and Little, and Brooks, really trying to get numbers around the ball and create something in the attacking third. I think you're going to see, the Red Stars try to settle the ball a little bit. I think it was, chances on each end where somebody, stripped somebody, a couple of recent, I think the midfield possession, both teams are going to fight a little bit harder to see if they can do that. And as they do that, I think, like I said earlier, the team that can hold the ball will be able to get their outside backs forward and into the game, and I think that will help them in terms of creating something in the final third.
Well, taking a look at some first half statistics for both teams, 4 shots on goal in that first half for the 2 shots on 4 shots for the Chicago Red Stars. 2 goals, one by Kristen Press and one by Jen Hoy. Press with a goal and assist here in the matchup tonight. And for the Seattle Reign, they have 6 shots, 3 of them on goal, and 2 goals in that first half. Goalkeeper Hope Solo has faced 2 shots on goal, has not made any saves. And for Karina LeBlanc, she has made 1 save on 3 shots on goal as we get ready to start the second half here at Benedictine University.
Probably not the goalkeeper stats that either of those goalkeepers want. When you have 2 goals against and no saves. But, that shows the efficiency of the goal scoring of us. And, I think that's, I don't think any of us think should have made a save on either one of those. Some great goal scoring by both teams, and we'll see what the second half brings.
Well, these were the 2 teams that were top 2 in fewest goals allowed last season. They've already had 4 in this game so far between the 2 of them. And we are underway here in the second half at Benedictine University. The Chicago Red Stars on the ball, going from right to left on your TV screen, wherever you may be watching, TV or computer, as that ball will roll over the touchline and for a throw-in for Seattle.
And it looks like we've already got 1 sub here with Boxy on the field. Shannon Box has come on the field, it looks like, for the Red Stars, and we'll see how she does in the midfield.
Definitely have that veteran presence, and that's what head coach Jill Ellis is looking for, bringing her on for the World Cup. Not somebody who's going to play a full 90 minutes, but somebody who provides some veteran leadership for a half. Or maybe just a spell towards the end of the match.
Yep, and it's pushed Danny Colaprico out here on the left side. I think you'll see Danny now, really trying to give some width over here, and Shannon probably tucked in a little bit in that midfield. And that really is going to leave that flank for Taryn Hemmings to try to get forward out of the back.
So that's the Red Stars here as we start this second half. Shannon boxed into the lineup. And Abby Ursik will play it to the near side of Rachel Kwan. Kwan will send that one down the line, but send it to nobody making the run for Chicago there. Getting things underway here in the second half of Benedictine University. 2-2 your Chicago Red Stars' first matchup of the season. First of 4 home matches to begin the year. In 1 week, a 7:30 p.m. start. They'll be hosting Portland Thorns, another team that had a really good start to the season, as they won 4-1 in their first matchup of the season. 2 tough tests for the Chicago Red Stars to open up the year.
And I think those tests are good early in the year. You want to see, where you need to improve. This is going to be a great game for both of these teams to go back to the drawing board and see where they can get better.
Well, the scheduling very favorable in that aspect for the Chicago Red Stars, as Julie Johnston will chase that one down to the corner. Not somebody we've talked about a whole lot this evening, but somebody who will definitely play a role for the Chicago Red Stars this season.
Yeah, we haven't talked about her a lot in terms of controlling that back line. She's done a good job. The 2 goals were given up off her restarts. Certainly not, kind of a mistake or a misorganization in the back line. And that's what Julie has really been doing well, I think, of late, is just reading the game and organizing the back line. She's a great communicator. And I think you've seen her really organize that back line. And next to Ursig with the experience that she has, that's a duo back there that can really control the game.
It goes up from our far side assistant referee. Looks like an offside. The Chicago Red Stars, or Yep, it is. It's a quick restart there by the Seattle Reign. Ball's played back and sent towards the goal, headed away by Ursig. Ball won by Ellie Reed, collides there in the midfield. Amber Brooks misplays the ball, but collected up by Seattle. Kolupny wins it back and plays it back to Ursig, who will play it back to Karina LeBlanc, long for Chicago. So we've got another whistle against the Chicago Red Stars.
Yeah, it looks like Hoy is really trying to stretch that Seattle defense and maybe create some space in the midfield, and keeps coming back from that offside position to get a ball. So certainly trying to stretch them a bit.
Well, Rachel Kwan will run onto it for the Chicago Red Stars. One taken right back by Chicago. Danielle Colaprico. Ball played back to Ursig. To Johnston. Plays that one, looking for Colaprico. Nice ball over the top. Kristen Press onside, still on it. Hope Solo off her line. Can Kristen Press do something with it? Solo gets back, but that's played. And shot taken, saved by Hope Solo. Stars had a golden opportunity there, just couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, gets it. Kristen Smart there, not really have an angle and play that ball back. And I think that's Taryn Hemmings there trying to get in forward, trying to get that shot off.
So it's a nice idea for the Red Stars, but definitely had a golden opportunity right there to take a 3-2 lead. As Jen Hoy will use her speed to run onto the ball, try to get around the defense there of Kendall Fletcher. Nice job by Seattle there to recover. A little help defense there by Ellie Reed.
You have players with a pace like Jen Hoy, you can certainly stretch that, and hopefully as they do that, that gives the Red Stars a little more play within the midfield.
Colaprico into the box looking for the head. I believe that was Shannon Box who had the header on goal for the Red Stars. Well, the Red Stars looking to press forward here as early on here in the second half.
They've got the wind at their back a little bit, and that's certainly going to help keep the ball on this end. And, now the challenge is, can you deal with that wind, even on the attacking side, even with at your back? Can you get the service and get the kind of things that you need and not let the wind take the ball away from where you want it to go?
Well, that's a pretty solid ball sent in there by the rookie Danielle Colaprico. Virginia's all-time leader in assists with 44, and you can see why there.
Absolutely, and that's on a team with the likes of Morgan Bryan, and so certainly she had a great college career, and I think to have a great pro career. She's a player who I think is really just starting to come on. So I looking for great things from Danny going forward.
And Kolupny will lose the ball, and it's taken away and sent by Fishlock. One back by the Red Stars. Johnston will head it forward. That's played. Jen Hoy trying to run onto it and goes back to Hope Solo. It's gotten pretty cold here at Benedictine University. We were talking earlier today about how warm it was earlier. You traveled some miles to get here to the match today. You were in St. Louis earlier, and I come from Rockford, and in both the temperature was really, really warm, and we just kind of watched it dip as we made our way here, and it's cold.
Yeah, it's certainly cooled off for the night, and then the wind blowing a little bit. The fans have certainly bundled them some more than when they arrived tonight. But I think for the players, the temperature is probably not too bad.
Now, the way they've been running up and down the field, it shouldn't really affect them all that much. But I feel bad for anybody who didn't really prepare for the weather and thought it would be warm all night. They're probably really suffering at this point. Lori Kolupny wins the ball for the Chicago Reds. Send that one over the top. Kristen Press trying to run onto it again. Way into space. Press trying to get it around Solo. Press still on it. Solo off her line. Nice job by the defense of Seattle. Recover, but Kolupny with it for the Red Stars.
Wow, another great chance for the Red Stars. Great ball for Kolupny to see Kristen Press getting in behind that back line.
That was Taryn Hemmings getting in there again. So Taryn Hemmings definitely making her way forward here tonight for the Chicago Red Stars. Now Rapinoe with it for Seattle. Chipped over the top. Rapinoe trying to run onto it. Gets a very fortunate bounce. Can she keep it in? She does. Or at least I thought she did, but it's not what the officials saw.
And I think Julie Johnson didn't see it either. She had her hand in the air, certainly begging for that to be called out of bounds. And the assistant referee had his flag up with that ball going out of bounds.
Well, it was awfully close. It may have just barely gone over the line as Hemmings takes the throw in for Chicago. 54th minute, 2-2 the score. First 30 minutes of action, no goals. Next 7 minutes after that, all of the goals.
It was a flurry.
This second half starting off much the way the first half did. Two teams kind of just slowing the pace a little bit and just trying to keep possession. Not really anything opening up so far here in the second half, and I think that may have been at halftime.
Yeah, and it's still, the wind and the surface, it's hard for both teams to get this ball on the floor and really start to knock it around. So you see a lot of bouncing balls, but once it gets on the floor, both teams, I think, are doing a pretty good job of keeping the ball.
Well, Rapinoe will take possession for Seattle. DiBernardo marking her. And she'll play that one back. Cox, won by Johnston. Ball played on the ground, and it's good Joe using that speed, trying to play the ball on the ground there.
Yeah, I think, playing the ball, and certainly I think want to keep that and try to get numbers in the attack. I think they're finding the ball forward into Hoy and press, and now they've got to be able to keep that a little bit.
And it's one of those things where you're especially seeing Vanessa DiBernardo take control of the midfield, and that's a player who played for you.
And Vanessa, I think this is a season to really, come into her own. She's got great vision, and to see her playing in that role and playing balls forward, looking forward to seeing what she does this season with the Red Stars.
And Quan pushing up, couldn't get anything going for the Chicago Red Stars, and Amber Brooks will pass it over there to Merritt Mathias. Quan will knock it over the touchline for a throw-in for Seattle. You're seeing that a lot more now. You're seeing a lot of defenders pushing forward, and that is kind of what this game has turned into.
There's some great battles on the flank. Taryn Hemmings getting forward and Ellie Reed getting forward on this flank. So certainly the backs getting involved in the attack and the midfield being able to hold it to allow that to happen. And so you're certainly seeing those battles occur on the flank.
And that's definitely a luxury that you have if you have outside backs who can cover that much ground and push forward. Kolupny will play that one forward, looking for Kristen Press. This time she's offside. She's gotten in behind the defense a couple times here in the second half, but in that instance, missed time to run just.
Yeah, and Press and Hoy are doing a really good job of just moving in opposite directions and making that deal with that. And one of them steps and leaves a little bit of space for Kristen Press to get in, and again, just a little too far into that space and in an offsides position.
Here comes DiBernardo into space, plays it out wide. Box will send it out to the flank. Played back at the top of the 18. DiBernardo with a shot that's deflected. It's cleared away by the Seattle Reign.
When the Red Stars can keep the ball and switch the point of attack like that and get their outside back forward, that's going to really help them.
As they continue to push forward, they've got a couple of players out there, especially in Press and Hoy, who can find the back of the net, and both of them have here tonight. Ball kept in play. Bernardo there against Yanez, and it's won back by the Chicago Red Stars. Jen Hoy trying to push forward, and again, the help defense there by Kim Little this time. Gets the ball out of trouble for the Seattle Reign. Johnston, who helped the Chicago Red Stars control the pace here in this 58th minute. 2-2 still your score. So we've got a pretty good crowd on hand. I know we touched on it in the first half, Janet, about this crowd that came out here for the home opener, as Lori Kolupny is fouled about the 45-yard line. But great way to start off the season. You guys feel a lot of energy in the stadium tonight?
Absolutely. A lot of energy. People lining the sides, down in the sideline seats full down there, and the stands full, and just the energy around the league. As you watch games across the league, the energy, and I think the belief that this league is here and it's here to stay, and people are excited about where this league has been and where it's going. be a part of. As a college coach, that's just great to know that the players coming into your program option to continue their career post-collegiately and have a great option. And that's exciting for us in the world of women's soccer.
As Vanessa DiBernardo knocked over there by Jess Fishlock. And a free kick upcoming now for the Chicago Red Stars. Not just the Chicago Red Stars, fan base having a great crowd. You had crowds of 6,000 in Houston for their home opener, the first match of the season. You had 8,000 in Portland, who draws really, really well at Providence Park. Just the buzz around the league for FCKC's home opener, just the buzz in the league as that crosses. And over the byline, out for a goal kick for Seattle.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think across the country, the fan base for women's soccer just continues to grow. And, I hope here in Chicago we can continue to grow this fan base. It's certainly important for the game and important for these players. They're some of the best athletes in the world. And, I think our guest at halftime said it's amazing to watch them compete. Because they are some of the best athletes in the world, and certainly some of the best female soccer players in the world here in this league. And for you love the people that come out and follow that and see that. And I think we're really starting to create a fan base here in Chicago, across the league, Kansas City, Portland, Houston. And I think that's how people can support is to come out and watch these great players play.
Well, Sky Blue FC and Washington both also had their home openers tonight, so I can only imagine the type of crowds that they drew. Just all over, things are doing WSL and should be an awesome season as that cross is sent, but won by the Stars. Taryn Hemmings, covering a lot of ground, will pass it over to Box, but Box will put it over the touchline out for a throw-in. Step will play to Amber Brooks. Kendall Fletcher back out to the wing, over to Cox. Little to Rapino. Seattle building on something here, over to Little. Little with the ball behind her, manages to turn it back. Fishlock tries to get onto it, taken away by the Red Stars.
And there you saw the possession of Seattle, their patience around the back, getting the ball in and trying to find a combination there at the top of the box. And now you see the Red Stars countering, right back in into that Seattle attacking third.
Jen Hoy trying to find some space to shoot the ball, gets that one deflected, and it'll roll over the byline. And it'll be a goal, it'll actually be a corner kick for the Chicago Red Stars. This Red Stars corner kick brought to you by the Illinois Women's Soccer League. For every Red Stars corner kick this season, IWSL will donate a game ticket to a local nonprofit organization. First corner kick coming in the 62nd minute. That was driven way far away and headed away to Fishlock. Ball bouncing around and will be kicked over the byline for a Seattle goal kick. Some bodies crashing in the box there, Janet.
Yeah, and just like the goals that Seattle scored, the Red Stars trying to make the most of a ball bouncing around that box. Job of marking in there, putting pressure on. I think that was DiBernardo at the top of the box, but certainly not having a free shot at the top of the box. Well defended by Seattle.
Well, this Red Stars broadcast brought to you in part by Athletico, the official physical therapy and athletic trainers of the team. Athletico, better for everybody. Find them online at Athletico. 63rd minute here at Benedictine University. A 2-2 score between the Chicago Red Stars and the Seattle Reign to open up the 2015 campaign for Chicago. Seattle on the ball now. Yanez out wide to Kim Little. Little with Johnston marking her. Little gets into the box. Nice job by Johnston, but Little somehow manages to still get a shot on goal there.
And that's the quickness and creativity. It doesn't take a lot, just a touch. Julie does a good job of limiting the angle she has, and I think Karina had that covered if that shot's on frame, but that's the explosiveness and the creativity you can see from Kim Little.
Well, Kim Little, NWSL MVP last season. She led the team in scoring with 16 goals. She was a Golden Boot Award winner last year in the NWSL and second in the NWSL in assists, so that's some major talent out there for the Reign.
Absolutely. She was certainly the creative piece in that midfield. But that's a great midfield. Amber Brooks has come in tonight, but Keelan Winters, Amber or Keelan can anchor that midfield. And then you've got Jess Fishlock, who's just such energy to the ball. So you've got an engine, you've got a creativity, and you've got an anchor. And what a great combination for a midfield to have.
Looks like there is another corner kick that's been won, or a throw, and it's awfully close to that corner. I'm not quite sure which side it went out on. So we'll find out here in just 1 second. It's going to be a throw. When you get into that corner, it's really hard to tell sometimes exactly where the ball goes out. But the ball is won there by the Seattle Reign. Rapinoe trying to run up. Rapinoe will have to play that one back into the defense. Barnes to the middle to Fletcher. Back to Barnes. Barnes and Fletcher passing back and forth. Now wide to Reed. Reed will get a touch on it there for Seattle, but the Red Stars trying to win it back. Colaprico fighting against Ellie Reed. Colaprico on the ball, tries a little back heel, knocked down by Ellie Reed. Referee was waiting to see if there was any advantage if a Red Stars player touched the ball. There wasn't, so he awards the free kick here in the 65th minute.
See a little bit more patience with Seattle, knocking the ball around in the back, trying to stretch that Red Star midfield out so that they can play through it. But the Red Stars doing a good job of really challenging every entry pass into that midfield.
Ursig will send the ball over the top, headed away by Fletcher. Kolupny, the captain, will send it back to Kwan. Kwan gets that one knocked away by Merritt Mathias. Ursig comes out of her box to send that one down the field. And Rapinoe will win the ball in the midfield for Seattle. Plays it out wide. Out there to Yanez. Yanez at the edge of the 18 will play it to the corner. All the way back there to Rapinoe. Now Rapinoe on the ball again. Rapinoe with it. And that ball will go out. It'll be a Seattle throw-in. Well, as we go on here, it looks like we have a substitution coming into the game. It'll be the second substitution for the... And it'll be one of the other rookies drafted by the Chicago Red Stars, Erin Gilliland, seeing her first action here for the Chicago Red Stars in the 2015 season. And she'll replace Rachel Kwan for Chicago. So three rookies getting some action here tonight for the Chicago Red Stars in the very first match of the year. Important, especially in this World Cup season.
Absolutely, and you know, I think it's, again, you certainly want to see how those rookies are going to respond, and that's what some of these early games are going to be about. Great to see Erin Gilliland get out there. Another great player who has a great attacking ability, fights hard, a great competitor. Don't know that I've seen someone who competes, and this team competes, but Erin Gilliland can jump right in there and compete with the best of them.
Well, she is the very first player, women's soccer player from the University of Kentucky drafted into the NWSL. So very, very cool opportunity for her. And actually her college coach came up to, so she is in attendance, or he is in attendance to watch her play.
I'm sure he's of Erin and her accomplishments. You know, she had a great career at Kentucky. Probably played as much as a forward as a back at Kentucky. So, you know, converting her and training her to be at this level as a back, certainly a testament to John and the things he's doing at
in the 8th overall pick in the 2015 NWSL College Draft, and was the 2014 SEC Defensive Player of the Year, so some more defensive talent for the Chicago Red Stars. As Julie Johnston has the ball for Chicago, still a 2-2 score in the 69th minute of play. As Colaprico will play that one back to Ursig. Jen will send that one over the top, looking for press, headed away by Seattle. Rapinoe control. Sends that one on the ground. Yanez will try to turn that one around and pass it over to Mathias. Mathias trying to get around the marking there. Erin Gilliland. And Gilliland, her Test passes it. Nice job by her to play some excellent defense there.
Yeah, and a great 1v1 defender. Like I said, she just is one of those psychologically just refuses to get beaten. And you sort of saw that, you know, a great battle there between Matthias and Gilliland. And I think you'll continue to see that for the rest of this half.
We'll send it over there. Looking for Kim Little. It'll go out of play, and it'll be a throw-in for the Chicago Red Stars. Colaprico back to fellow rookie Gilliland. DiBernardo, play that one. And it's knocked out of bounds by the Chicago Red Stars. And things are starting to crawl just a little bit here in the 70th minute, Janet.
You know, I think both teams still really trying to find a way to get the ball, you know, on the floor. And you know, even that pass from DiBernardo, it's up in the air, and now you got to settle it again. Neither team really able to keep the ball on the carpet. And part of that's the wind, and part of that's the pace of this game and the pressure that both teams are putting on each other, especially in the...
Many people have talked about, you know, playing a match on turf as grass, and that's a subject that has come up many times, especially in the women's game. It's a little bit harder because the turf rolls faster, and you got to factor that into it as well.
Yeah, you know, it rolls a little bit, and then you get the wind, and you know, some of them have a little bit more bounce to it, so it's hard just to keep it on the ground. It's just not near as forgiving.
Colaprico says, and it looks like an offside has been called against the Chicago Red Stars.
You know, and that's several times now. Again, a little offsides, but you know, that Seattle back line is really giving, you know, Christian Press and Jen Hoy an opportunity to run behind them, and I think that's something that, you know, for them to read that service and really not let those players get in behind them. Great for them to hold that line and get them offsides, but certainly created some dangerous situations there for the Red Stars.
You got a substitution coming in the match now for the Seattle Reign. And Mariah Noguera is going to enter the match now for the Seattle Reign. So that is the first substitution of the matchup for the Seattle Reign, as Gilliland makes a nice little run down the near side. The ball knocked away by Amber Brooks. So as Mariah Noguera comes into the game, how do things shift around now for the Seattle Reign?
Well, I think what's happened is, you know, they've pushed Kim Little up top now. You know, so Kim has pushed forward into that attack and gotten her closer to the goal. You know, Seattle doesn't want to go out of here with a tie, so they're going to put some players on and push Kim Little forward and see if she can't create something and give Seattle a win here in Chicago. So I think look for them to find Kim and really try to create off of her as she plays forward.
Well, it's the Chicago Red Stars who have the ball right now, and it's going to be a corner kick for Chicago, and another Red Stars corner kick means Illinois Women's Soccer League will be donating another ticket to a local nonprofit organization. As the ball is blowing around, and that's where the wind really becomes the factor. You really can't get the ball set in that corner, and Vanessa DiBernardo is having a really hard time.
Yeah, you know, they don't want you to hit a moving ball, but yet hard to set. But now, you know, short corner, a great opportunity there. And
that ball is sent in and knocked over the byline. I think it last comes off Hope Solo, so it'll be another corner. And another ticket donated to a local nonprofit by Illinois Women's Soccer League. DiBernardo will try to get this one set as we approach the 74th minute at Benedictine University. Still a 2-2 game. Rapino, one back by the Red Stars. Floated into the box and over the byline, out for the Seattle Reign. Kendall Fletcher will take it for Seattle. To the side. Giannis bumping off a couple of Red Stars players there, and Ursig will win the ball back for Chicago. Kim Little makes the turn. Kolupny marking her. Brooks, nice little pass looking for Little, but nicely defended there by Chicago. And a collision here on the near side. Looks like it's going to be ruled a throw-in. And again, we take a look at this great crowd, Benedictine University, to watch this matchup. And hopefully we can get that same kind of crowd in 3 weeks, May 9th, as the Chicago Red Stars will be hosting the Boston Breakers as part of a doubleheader with the Chicago. What a really great opportunity for the Red Stars to get some exposure.
Absolutely, great facility there, and I was at the doubleheader last year. It was fantastic. I think both fan bases got an opportunity to see great soccer on the men's side and the women's side. Just a great event.
Here comes Kristen Press on the outside, sends that one to the 18, and it's cleared away by Red Stars. Win it right back and sends the ball right back in, but right in the hands of Hope Solo. And we haven't talked about Hope Solo a whole lot tonight either. Neither have we Karina LeBlanc. The couple of goals that they gave up in that first half, not ones they wish they could have back for sure.
Yeah, there haven't been a ton of chances, and the teams have been efficient scoring. So, you haven't seen a lot of saves, haven't seen them have to do a lot, except for in those, 4 critical moments. And both teams were pretty efficient in putting those away.
The Chicago Red Stars throw-in is coming up. Taryn Hemmings will throw it in to Johnson will send the long ball over the top and will roll right back to Hope Solo, and that's the direction the wind is blowing. And they've both teams definitely had a fight with the wind, but the Chicago Red Stars, especially in the second half, you're going the same direction as the wind is blowing. It makes it really hard to control those balls that you send long.
Yeah, I think even the ball, flighted from the flank that Taryn Hemmings sent in was much deeper than she really wanted to, and that's really the wind, just carrying that ball deeper into the box, making it a lot easier for Hope Solo to come and one out of the air.
Well, as I got the weather reading before this match started, it said wind out of the northeast, 13 miles per hour, but it certainly seems a lot faster than that.
Yeah, and I think it's continued to pick up as the game has gone on. So certainly the Red Stars are using it to their advantage to keep the ball on that end, but it's really making it hard, I think, for the teams to put this ball on the floor and keep possession and have the kind of patience that both teams. And certainly we know that's Seattle's preference, and I don't think they're going to be happy right now with their possession and what they've been able to do in terms of just really getting a rhythm.
And I don't think, as we go, I don't think either team would be really happy with their possession numbers in this game because of all the factors involved in it, especially the wind as much as it's blowing tonight.
Yeah, I just don't think, either team hasn't strung a lot of passes, really been patient in their attack.
Well, that was a little bit dangerous. Kim Little almost had an opportunity to run onto it, but Karina LeBlanc got onto it in the Chicago Red Stars control. Shannon Box on the far side. Nice little battle there. And Seattle will send that one the other way. Johnston will control to Kolupny. Kolupny will try to switch midfield there by Yanez. Amber Brooks pushing forward. Tries to send that one through to Little, but nicely defended there by Gilliland.
But, part of that possession is, both of these teams work really hard on both sides of the ball. And so on the ball in the midfield, nobody's giving any team any chance or time or space on the ball to really be able to get the kind of rhythm that maybe they'd want. So you certainly have to play quickly because whichever team it is going to really get you under pressure pretty quickly.
We saw that late in the first half where the goals came quickly, and it's just one of those things where just pushing forward and a lot of creativity and a lot of talent put the ball in the back of the net. That one is sent forward and won there by Stephanie Cox. Kendall Fletcher will corral it up for the Seattle Reign. Noguera to the near side to Ellie Reed. Back to Noguera. Won there by Jen Hoy. Played in the middle to DiBernardo. DiBernardo cleared away. And controlled by Seattle. Steph Cox sends it towards the center circle. Kim Little wins the ball. Almost one right back there by Gilliland. Amber Brooks gives Seattle. And they were just about the midfield control aspect of it right now in this match.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, Gilliland, to step in, pressuring hard, really making it hard for anybody to solve that, and that's where I think, probably both of these teams want to be a little bit better in terms of solving pressure and being able to keep with that kind of pressure. Credit to the teams for the defensive pressure they're putting on each other tonight, because I certainly think that's been the story of the game, is both teams have really put and made the other team play quickly and find spaces and made it difficult for them to really get the kind of possession, like this kind of combination that you're seeing. But now you see the Red Stars with numbers around the ball and really making it hard for Kim Little to combine and to get the kind of opportunities that she's used to.
Well, that's the kind of thing you know when you have as many goals as that were scored in this short amount of time in that first half. It's good to see the two teams settle down and really have shored up defensively.
Yeah, certainly I think that's, I'm sure both teams at halftime, wanted to deal with the problems that they had in terms of giving up those goals. The Red Stars marking on restarts and a little bit of the transition moments for Seattle. And, you haven't seen those become a...
It's really been a defensive clinic between the two teams here in the second half. Sam will play that one towards Kim Little. But again, the Chicago defense getting numbers and winning the ball back.
Yeah, both teams, they've got numbers around the ball. And so, to try to find those passes that keep possession, it's a challenge for both teams.
There's a whistle and a foul. And that's the other thing that I've noticed, not only shored up defensively, but we have not heard a whole lot of whistles tonight. It's been a really clean game, not a whole lot in the way of fouling. It's just been really solid.
Yeah, I think both teams are battling. They're put under pressure, not allowing them to play with, like I said, a lot of time and space, but, not a lot of needless physical play. People are trying to solve this game by playing soccer.
That shot is taken with the left foot. Nice cheeky idea there. It'll go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think Jen Hoy trying to get a shot off quickly there, see if she can catch Hope Solo. But, it's a pretty savvy goalkeeper back there. Probably not going to, get, so to speak. I think she was ready for that if it's on frame. But a great opportunity with Jen Hoy with the wind at her back to give it a go there. Certainly late in the game, try to make something happen.
Well, we have another substitution for the Seattle Reign. And number 18, Danielle Foxhoven, will come to the lineup for Seattle. Here in the 83rd minute, this match is still tied at 2. All the goals coming in with an in the first half from the 30th minute on. And that ball is floated in towards Solo. And right there, that's where you try to use the wind to your advantage and hope it pushes the ball right past the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a challenge when that ball gets up in the wind, and you could see Hope, kind of sway with it as the wind took and played with it a little bit, but certainly something that Hope's fairly confident to handle that one for sure.
Well, Red Star Soccer 2015 is presented by the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, proud presenting partner of the Chicago Red Stars. The Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, move better, live better. Well, now everybody's just starting to snuggle up. Must have gotten really cold out there, Janet.
I think I'm glad I'm up here in the booth. Certainly people have their coats and hats and gloves on, most of them have broken a sweat. And I think these last 7 minutes, you're going to see both teams try to get a win out of this game.
Well, they've definitely been playing very well defensively, but we'll see how they can push forward and create some opportunity here in the last 6 minutes or so, 6.5. Plus stoppage, Kristen Press, she's definitely a player who can create some chances, and she floats that one into Hoy. And it's deflected away by Fletcher. And it results in a corner kick for the Chicago Red Stars, which means Illinois Women's Soccer League will be donating another ticket to a local nonprofit organization. Crowd noise starting to pick up here at Benedictine University.
And this crowd wants to see a goal off of this corner kick. I think they've had enough now. They want to see if maybe we can get a little revenge off the restart goals.
That ball is sent very long towards the back post and headed away by Rapinoe. That'll roll out of play for a Chicago Red Stars throw-in. Now the Hemmings throw-in for Chicago. We'll send it back to Johnston. Kolupny trying to get onto it. A long blast. That'll go over the byline. And again, that's where you try to use the wind blowing at your back to your advantage.
And, you know, Chicago's definitely taken some long-range shots in this half, and I'm sure that's, you know, thinking that that's certainly going to make things a lot more difficult for Hope Solo with the wind coming at her face.
And they managed to push it wide a couple times, but certainly Hope Solo has to have that in her mind right now. That's what the Red Stars are trying to do, and she's definitely got to be on her game. Keeper who has been the U.S. #1 keeper for many, many years, she definitely is ready for any situation.
Yeah, she's arguably, I would argue in her favor, you know, the best goalkeeper in the world, and you know, and for good reason.
Kim Little making a nice run down the right side for Seattle. Gets that attempted cross block, but she gets the ball back in, but Abby Ursig will corral it up and send it forward for the Chicago Red Stars to clear it out of harm's way.
Yep, and you saw, you know, two players that have maybe sort of neutralized each other. You know, Kolupny and Kim Little. Even though she's playing up front, you saw Kolupny helping out and making sure that Kim Little, you know, has to deal with the pressure that the Red Stars are going to put on her.
Here come the Red Stars now. Kolupny will send that one very long, looking for Kristen Press. Kristen, with a player as speedy as Kristen Press is, that's where you just have a lot of patience and just time it absolutely perfectly.
Right, and you know, Taryn Hemmings made a central run there, which I think helped Cox out just a little bit. She didn't have to worry about the player out wide on the flank, was able to kind of cut things off and then step in and tackle it at just the right moment. Great play by Steph Cox.
Rapinoe will play it into Little. Little trying to find a little space. Little chips it, and will go over the byline for a goal kick for Chicago. I don't know if she was expecting somebody to make a run there on that back post, but
I think she was trying to bend it in, and the wind didn't help her. It was against her. But, you know, I think at this time in the game, you've got your attacking players. There's a chance you're probably going to take it and see if you can make a difference in the outcome of this game.
It's one of those things where you just get one fortunate bounce, and it just definitely has a chance for a goal.
And you can certainly see Chicago starting to play a little bit more direct and see if they can get a ball in behind and do something to create a goal here.
Well, that's one of the things that has definitely been successful for them, you know, towards the end of last season. Now as we start this season is, you know, playing the ball more direct, trying to keep it on the ground, relying on that speed that they have up top, you know, to run onto the ball and create the scoring chances.
You know, and you've got that pace and can stretch a back line, and you know, the flank defenders for Seattle are having to deal with the players in that space. So it's left Lauren Barnes and Kendall Fletcher, you know, matched up with Preston Hoy, and that's not two easy players to handle. And Chicago certainly has tried to take advantage of that.
Julie Johnston will head that one away, and it's cleared away by Hemmings, and will go out of play for a Seattle throw-in. And you know, the defense is still being very, very solid, especially as we, you know, get in the later stages of the match, and the players who have definitely been out there for the whole entire match, you know, the fatigue is starting to set in at this point. So one minor lapse, you know, one minor bit of exhaustion, and it creates a scoring chance. So it's good to see that even with the exhaustion potentially setting in, you know, the defenses are still pretty solid.
Yeah, you know, this is their first game. Not everybody's got their game legs, so to speak. But you know, these teams are certainly going to kind of keep things. You don't see anybody taking too many risks in the back right now. You know, they're going to play it pretty safe in these last couple of minutes. Don't want to give a goal to either team. And we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, like you said, you know, nobody's, you know, doing anything. They're being very conservative, and that's kind of what you do in a first game situation, first or second game. Kim Little sends that one across the face of goal, and it'll roll over the byline for a corner kick looks like, for Seattle. I didn't see any Red Stars player touch that.
I think that deflected off of Gilliland as she was trying to defend there. And again, you see that just quick explosiveness there of Kim Little. She gets just outside. Actually, I think Abby Ursig comes across and has a deflection. And probably good that she did, as that ball looked like it might be heading on target if she didn't.
Off the ensuing corner kick, here comes Kim Little. Dangerous close to the byline, tries to cut it back towards the top of the 6. And Foxhoven with it. Out on the edge, Rapino tries to send the cross. It is cleared away by Chicago as we approach second half stoppage time. Don't know how much we'll have. We're going to have the indication here by the fourth official in just 1 second. We have reached stoppage time here at Benedictine University, and there'll be 2 additional minutes of stoppage time here in the second half. Still a little chance for either team if they can get a good run to do something. As Amber Brooks will try to get that over the top, and that's cleared away by Chicago. And here comes Kristen Press. Kristen Press in behind the fence, takes the shot, and the goal for the Red Stars in stoppage time. Wow, Kristen Press just out of nowhere, getting some in behind a tired defender in Lauren Barnes, and scores the potential game winner.
Talked about it, the outside backs getting caught a little high, dealing with the flanks, leaving that 2 center backs to deal with Press and Hoy, and ball gets played in, and Press just outruns Lauren Barnes, and then again, great finish there from Press to, like you said, the potential game winner here in stoppage time.
Just enough of a burst of speed to get in behind Lauren Barnes and finish for Kristen Press. And as you take a look at the replay of the goal, just bouncing and just enough speed to get right past Lauren Barnes and the sweet right-footed finish.
Yeah, it's a ball that's just getting played forward, and Hoy flicks that ball into that space behind, and like you said, the burst of speed, just able to get to that ball, before Barnes or Fletcher can get there.
Well, that's a heck of a way to steal 3 points if this score result holds, and Jen Hoy will try to run onto it now for Chicago to maybe sweeten the icing on the cake a little bit. You can't send the cross in, and it's deflected out there by Reed and Fletcher. As Rory Dames looking towards the officials on the sideline, and maybe one last chance for the Red Stars, and I think they'd be content with just playing the ball. Cola Prico with it. I think they're just content with holding it and just taking the 3 points and getting out of here tonight with a win.
Yeah, I think if they could just keep the ball here in the corner and run this clock out, they'll be happy with the 3 points, the win, and 3 goals to start their campaign.
Absolutely, and 3 goals against a team who scored 5 goals in their first matchup against Western New York on Sunday.
Yeah, and 3 goals against a team that was top in goals allowed. Best defensive team in the NWSL last fall, and Chicago gets 3 points. 3 is going to be their magic number tonight.
A 3-point game to start the season for the Chicago Red Stars against the defending Shield winners, the defending runners-up, and a team who had a 16-match winning streak to start the season. Well, they snapped their winning streak at 1 in 2015.
Yeah, and like I said, the Red Stars are certainly going to be happy with the 3 points and the victory. And like I said, a great game for both these teams to figure out what they need to work on. Certainly the 2 goals the Red Stars gave up, and the Reign will go back. And I'm sure, as Coach Harvey said, and I spoke with her early today, this is about them trying to get better. And I know they're not going to be happy with this result, and they'll get back to work, I'm sure, this next week and start really trying to improve themselves as a team.
Well, that'll wrap it up for tonight's broadcast. Your final score, the Chicago Red Stars 3, the Seattle Reign 2. Your next broadcast in 1 week. It's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff between the Chicago Red Stars and another tough opponent in Portland. We'll catch you with that one, but for University of Illinois head women's coach Janet Rayfield, I'm Brett Meyer saying good night. It's a Chicago Red Stars win. Good night, everybody.